there has been kind of a bit of a dry spout regarding Attack on Titan, as I didn't want to open the can of worms that is the anime's current state. Please don't hurt me, Twitter. Please, don't hurt me. So, due to this, my thoughts for an Attack on Titan video have been in limbo. But after months of a wait, that honestly felt like a few years, we finally got chapter 137. The chapter, overall, was pretty alright. However, I am happy to say that pretty much all of my theory from the last video seems to be correct, at the current point of time anyways. For those that haven't seen the last video yet, there will be a card on screen linking to it, and there will be a link to it down in the description as well. Regardless, I'm gonna very quickly cover it so we can talk about this chapter. My theory was that Ymir manipulated Eren from birth to lead him to inevitably activate the rumbling, and then once he activated the rumbling, he would use the power of the founding Titan to manipulate Attack Titan users over the course of history to make sure that they all got to this current point in time. We see him doing this with Grisha, as he lets his dad only see memories he wants him to see and forces him to do stuff, and then after this, the rumbling is carried out, and Ymir captures Armin so he can speak to Zeke, and from there they would somehow work together to stop the rumbling, which I suspected that Armin would blow up somehow to finish off Eren. Once the rumbling is stopped, Eren's founding Titan would be blown up by Armin, and he would be killed. Or he would be close to death, because I still really think that Falco is going to eat him somehow. This would lead to Ymir being free, along with all of the Eldian people. This chapter did prove the point that Ymir brought Zeke and Armin together to stop the rumbling, as Zeke presents his pessimistic view on life to Armin, which he also explains how Titans came into existence indirectly. I honestly really don't know how to feel about this. So in the first panel of the chapter, we see a meteor falling from space onto Earth. Then it develops DNA and it becomes a creature that lives underwater. This is the same thing that latched onto her when she fell into that tree, since it was living underwater. The cause of Ymir gaining the founding Titan and the Eldian people gaining the power of the Titans was because of aliens. Literally, aliens. Like, I know it's actually supposed to be based off of a real organism called a hallucigenia, which there is not really anything known about that I'm aware of, since I'm pretty sure they're extinct now, but hallucigenia definitely did not attach to humans to make gigantic human beings. So this explanation of the Titans, to me at least, was kind of a letdown. I expected it to have some ties to mythology, or there'd actually be a greater force that gives his power to Ymir, but nope, not at all. She just got lucky one day, fell into a tree that had water with a prehistoric alien in it, attached itself to her, and she became the first Titan. That's pretty much it. Kind of a little stupid if you ask me. But regardless, I'd also like to note that in this panel there are 3 of them, so if that tree still exists, there could possibly be more of them out there, meaning that there could be more founding Titans. I don't know how I feel about that. Also, the rumbling is just Eren as a giant hallucigenia. Now that I actually know what this thing is, it's very clear that this is supposed to be Eren's rumbling form. Anyway, that rant aside, Armin uses his talk no jutsu to show Zeke there is a purpose in humanity and multiplying in life and whatnot, all the sweet jazz. But for some reason, he pulls a leaf out of the castle that is a baseball to Zeke. This is neat because it symbolizes something important to whoever sees it. But like, why is this here? It just appears for what feels like plot convenience. And then suddenly, every one of the past Titan shifters that we know appears, and despite their Titans not being sentient in previous chapters, their souls suddenly have full control of their Titans. What? Are you kidding me? I don't think anyone saw this coming. I know I definitely did not see this coming. I believe this is probably due to Zeke having royal blood and realizing what he has to do now, but I can't help but feel that this is incredibly out of place. Like, this is a moment I could see happening in an Avengers movie, not Attack on Titan. This also begs the question on what was the point in creating all of these other Titans to fight off the Eldians and like try to kill them all if they secretly could just revert back to their past selves? And also, if like the paths can bring back past Eldians for like Zeke and them to interact with, couldn't he have done this with like Grisha a while ago? Or he could have done a lot of other things? The fact that this paths like creates some weird plot hole is really bugging me. It has bugged me a lot since it happened. But anyways, the now sentient Titans and the Eldians fight together, and then Zeke pops out to have Levi kill him. This was actually a shower thought that I had not too long ago, that Levi would probably kill Zeke, filling his last mission, but I thought that this would be kind of interesting because it most likely would backfire and it wouldn't stop the rumbling. Apparently though, if it stops the rumbling, this feels strangely convenient. Ymir was shown to only listen to those with royal blood until Eren convinced her to cause the rumbling, which from that point on, it has been suggested she was now doing what she wanted to, not having Zeke do anything to like influence her at all. However, the rumbling stopping when Zeke dies goes against this idea, since once the royal blood disappeared, the rumbling stopped completely. This either means that Ymir is not free, or it means that Ymir did indeed want Eren to lose and that she herself stopped the rumbling when Zeke died. Or it just means that like no matter what, Ymir is free and she still needed royal blood to activate and control the rumbling. I don't know, this also brings up a lot of questions that don't really seem to have a lot of answers. After this, they blow off Eren's head, and the parasite that is apparently the founding titan that was an alien that attached itself to Ymir comes out of Eren's body and tries to keep his founding titan together, but Reiner stops it, and then Armin blows himself up. Overall, again, this chapter was okay. There were a lot of things that I thought, wow, this is pretty cool. And there were a lot of things that I thought, wow, this makes no sense. However, I was correct about Armin and Zeke working together after Ymir brought them together, and Armin notes that Ymir wanted to be connected somehow, and seems to want something from them. This likely implies how she wants her and her people to be free, and this also probably does support a lot of the comments I got saying that Historia's baby would be Ymir's reincarnation. In Norse mythology, Ymir is a being that indirectly created most of life in the physical world. She would be killed later by 3 gods, and her body would be used to create the world and make an endless feud between gods and giants. In Attack on Titan, this refers to her dying, the 3 gods being Maria, Rose, and Cena, and she would create the bloodline of the Eldian people that would create an endless feud between humans and Titan. The gods and giants in Norse mythology would have a final battle known as Doom of the Gods, where the world would be destroyed and then reborn, which is a direct reference to the Rumbling. And once the final fight had ended, Ymir would be reborn as a human. By the way, let me know if you guys want me to do a video on the connections between Norse mythology and Attack on Titan, because there are a lot of them. Anyways, what Ymir wants from Armin and Zeke is for them to defeat Eren, which would bring an end to Titans and endless decades of feuding, and would result in the freedom she wanted so that she could be reborn. As for the rest of my theory, I heavily believe that next chapter will be entirely from Eren's perspective, and the final chapter will be his death and the end of the story. And the next chapter, I really do believe that we will see how he manipulated past Titan users to confirm the closed time loop. And I don't doubt that he will find out he was being used from the start. Because of Armin's explosion, Reiner probably will be out of commission. I don't think Armin would eat Eren, and the only other person that is currently in their Titan form at this moment is Falco, as everyone else is exhausted. So once again, I still see Falco being Eren's death. It's just been foreshadowed way too much. Now the final panel I originally heavily believed was Grisha and Eren, but now I could see it being Historia holding the reincarnation of Ymir. There are just a lot of possibilities for this last panel. I do find it hilarious though on how many people thought my theory was stupid, too optimistic, that I didn't read the manga, that I was dumb. But so far, Isayama seems to be heading down the path of making it all almost come true. So, take that comment section. Attack on Titan is now sunshine and rainbows. I don't really know how happy I am though about my theory being correct, since a lot of the community does not seem to be happy about it, and now that it's actually happening, you know, I'm kind of happy that I was right, but it's not heading down the path that I wanted for an ending for Attack on Titan. However, I am very happy with my analysis skills though. They seem to be pretty on point, not to toot my own horn or anything. I'm sorry for letting down the community by being mostly right. I'm not really sure, because a lot of people are still really on my ass in comments on the last few videos about it. All I know is that I'm not as excited for the last 2 chapters as I was, because this chapter was probably a 6 out of 10. I'm sorry if I sound really uninterested in this video, or if I just seem not really invested. This chapter kind of was a load of ass to me. I'm not very happy with it. I think that the paths now create a lot of plot holes with bringing back past Titan users, and I find the whole thing about aliens being kind of dumb. I think the fact that the Rumbling was stopped by killing Zeke when he just pops out like a fucking gopher is really stupid. There are just so many things that were in chapter 137 that did not feel like it belonged in Attack on Titan. So yeah, that's what I have to say about chapter 137. I really hope that chapter 138 is going to be a much more uplifting video and a much more happy video, because like, I've been sitting on this for a few weeks. I kept reading the chapter over and over again to see if there was anything else that I might like, or if I was wrong about things, and I just couldn't find anything. I could not really find too many things to say that I enjoyed about this chapter. So yeah, that's all I gotta say. Thanks for watching, guys.